Now I want to talk about this case a little bit more. This is fresh. This is brand new. This is somewhat brand. He was missing May 12th or something, and then they just found his remains a month later. So a month later, but they were able to find out. Apparently he was the guy. Kenny John is. Let's see here. This guy here. This one. And then this is Christopher Mondragon, who is being accused of at least stealing the truck and tampering with the body. So Kenny John, R.I.P. to Kenny John. He was missing May 12th. They found his remains a month afterwards. And then they're looking for this Christopher Mondragon. Now, Christopher Mondragon, we'll give him the best benefit of the doubt and say that he was at the most an accomplice, or at the least an accomplice. At the most, he's the perpetrator. He's the one that did it. But all they're doing is charging him with tampering with the corpse, the dead body, and stealing a truck. So he's being accused of stealing the vehicle or whatever, and then tampering with the dead body, not so much murder charges. So there could be an accomplice. There could be more people. And it does seem incredible. Just one man can, I guess one man probably could just take another man, right? Just jump up and kind of, but it would seem easier with, a person or two helping out. Also, I have no idea if you were to steal a truck, you'd have to take it to a chop shop or some shit. Who the hell did he just steal it for himself? So is he just joyriding it at home at his house? Now I'm going to give you some of the details, and then I'm going to give a little bit of commentary because there's a lot of fucked up shenanigans that happen here in the San Luis Valley. A man has been missing for 6 days from southern Colorado after he was last seen with a utility task vehicle and trailer, which are also missing, according to a missing person alert from the CBI. Kenny John, 46, was last seen in the area of 400 Broadway Avenue, Blanca, evening of May 12th. He may be driving a white 2023 Polaris Ranger 1000 Premium with a black Reddig flatbed trailer. He's 6 feet tall, weighs 200 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. So that was, the call the Blanca Police Department, 719-937-9460. And it's got, the picture of the Polaris. It seems like, a lot of people just, do that. Have, a little four-wheeler, right? Just drive around with a little four-wheeler. He could have been a hunter. Could have been just an adventurer. It's not a four-wheeler. It's like an ATV. It's a nice ATV. In fact, that ATV might be more valuable than the trailer and the truck. 2023, so brand new. Nice brand new Polaris thing, so he just bought the thing. So RIP to Kenny John. He seems like, salt of the earth, good, decent person. Worked hard, got his stuff, and then one day somebody saw that he owned things and therefore murdered him and took his stuff. Now, Christopher Mondragon hasn't been arrested, and that's very important. That's very, very important. I want to compare the Ann Kelly standard, the DA Ann Kelly and Michael Gonzalez's standard for arresting somebody or for pursuing accusations versus the Robert Ogburn standard. The reason why this is important is because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if somebody is accused of this or that, we all need the same process. We all need the same rules of evidence, the same procedure. And the biggest thing I don't think they understand is they don't understand civil liberties. Freedom of speech is a law. Now, that's a law in the Constitution. That is a law. So, let me just tell you about a couple of the things. So, I was accused of felony menacing because I shot a couple warning shots from behind my house up into the air, straight up into the air. Now, I respected the cops, respected the system. I paid Susie Lucero all of her money for the planning and zoning permits. And every time I witnessed a crime, I called the police. I called it in. So even if the cops went out there and didn't do shit, I felt like I was doing my part. Then the cops were outside my door one day. And I had called somebody I thought was a friend. And my friend just, go on out there and talk to him. It looks like there's 5 men who want to rape and murder me. Yeah, go on, chit-chat with him as a, Caucasian female. Of course, you see police officers, just what are you doing? I think she was just being curious, but give me terrible advice, which has been fucking over the last 2 years of my life. The reason why this is important because the standard for Michael Gonzalez and Ann Kelly, they don't have any standards except for if a cop kidnaps you. If you've been arrested, then you're fucked. So the crime isn't the crime. The crime isn't the crime. It's not if you're going around stealing, if you're hurting people, running dogs over, or doing spotlighting. These are the shit that people are doing to me. People did drive-by shootings on me. So people are concerned about, criminality. If people are concerned about criminality, then maybe the people that are shooting people are the people that are shooting at people. Maybe the ones that are doing attempted murders are also the ones that's engaged in the fucking homicides. So just to run down a couple things, you got this piece of shit, Philip Greene. Philip Greene has committed 50 to 100 crimes against me. Robert Pickrell committed about a dozen crimes against me. Jacqueline Mitchell committed about a dozen crimes against me. And I got a lot of this on videotape. How are you going to deny the videotape? They do. And that's the reason why their standard is if a cop arrests you, then you're fucked. You're fucked. If a cop arrests you, they think that they get to talk down to you and fucking throw entrapment this and do that and try to fuck you up in any way that they can. It doesn't matter if they got proof. It doesn't matter if they got the evidence. It doesn't matter if they got a good case or not. The cop kidnapped you, well then your life is fucked. Nope, I'm going to sit here and be a fucking punk ass bitch to you until you just say that you're guilty and that you're a bad little boy and that you're not going to do it again. No, I'm a good man. And I was being victimized over and over and over again, and I shot a few warning shots. So if I get victimized 100 times and I tell you to stop doing it, then I get victimized for the next 6 years. Are you guys fucking stupid? The fuck is the matter with you? So right now, Christopher Mondragon, he hasn't been arrested. Looks like he killed a person. He's out there running around wherever the hell he's running around. Does he have a warrant out for his arrest? Does anybody? I've only been able to find a couple articles about that. But he hasn't been arrested. So, some of the disrespect. So, listen, the crimes. You had Noah. He had shot at me. Capon was shooting at me. You little Xana, some fucking guy in a white pickup truck with a black bed. He's always driving around committing crimes. It's the Mickey Mouse KKK, some kind of posse. It's the right-wing sovereign movement. Troy Zinn, Hiram Richardson, Nick Villela. So all of them have committed crimes in, different respects, but a lot of it's Nazi shit. A bunch of Nazis who like to be criminal motherfuckers and they don't like an anti-fascist. So if we were here in the Valley, we were against crimes. Okay, so we just heard about this, Kenny John getting killed. And it looks like, this Christopher Mondragon may have had something to do with it. I would ask the people who have been shooting. Hey, Kenny Capon. Hey, Robert Pickrell. Remember that time you did a drive-by shooting on my house? Robert Pickrell? You go around doing other crimes, Robert Pickrell? How many other crimes have you done? Robert Pickrell moved into Costilla County, told Susie Lucero to go fuck herself. I ain't gonna pay you my permits, you stupid piece of shit. Bitch. And then he committed crimes against me, and then I called the cops, and then he stayed inside his house. Because he's gone to Cornell University. He knows the law that fucking good. No, the cops are that fucking lazy. Motherfuckers. They basically fucked everything up. They fucked everything up. Instead of investigating, they didn't ask any questions. They didn't presuppose that I'm telling the fucking truth. And nobody got arrested. For drive-by shootings, for attempted murder? I mean, you guys want to pretend that Kenny John was killed. And that's a tragedy. But I don't think they give a shit about crimes. I don't think they give a shit about tragedies. Because Danny Sanchez was going to let me just keep on getting harassed and hounded out there until something dreadful happened. Thank God nothing did, but I called the police. And the police are a bunch of egotistical pieces of shit. And when I called the police and they know, Soto Cruz knows Troy Zinn, Keith Schultz knows Kenny Capon. So when I sit there and tell them that their buddy committed a crime, well, they're going to try to fuck me over because they got an ego and they don't know right from wrong and they know their buddy, but they don't know me. Who cares who's right or wrong? According to the Costilla County Sheriff's Department, according to Michael Gonzalez and Ann Kelly. So the police are out there and then I say, okay, well, I'll go out there and explain myself and they should just, I'm consistent with Colorado Constitution. You're allowed to bear arms in defense of home, person, and property. But they weren't impressed by any of it. They weren't impressed with me paying for my permits. They weren't impressed with me calling 911 when I witnessed crimes. They weren't impressed with me writing it up and taking photos and taking videotapes. They weren't impressed with any of it. And just real quick, when it comes to what's good evidence, DNA and fingerprints are good evidence, but also prior statements. Prior statements are admissible. So in the Costilla County, hopefully it's Ricky Rodriguez. Ricky Rodriguez should be the point man on this thing. I think it started in Blanca, and then it's just right outside of Blanca. But that's Danny Sanchez and Soto Cruz would be the sheriff and the undersheriff of Costilla County. So when they go around looking for evidence, DNA, fingerprints, all that's good stuff too, but prior statements is admissible. Prior statements is admissible. What all did Kenny John say beforehand? And a lot of people want to question other people like you're in the movies. Did you do this, this, and this? Aha, you said the thing I was looking for. Give people time to think and say, if you ever seen anything, try to put it in a statement, you know? What have you seen? What all did he say? Because if he had the same experience as I had, you know, I would presume who possibly committed the crimes. Well, maybe Jacqueline Mitchell, Robert Pickrell, Phil Greeny. They've committed crimes beforehand. Phil Greeny's committed 50 to 100 crimes against me. Hiram Richardson, Nick Villela, Noah Capon. And then there's a little Xanis X, and I don't know who this is, but it's KKK Mickey Mouse shit. Right-wing sovereign. Troy Zinn still knows the big names. Bruce Doucette, he knows all the big names of the Nazis. Bruce Doucette, Vince Edwards, he goes around selling water illegally. He hasn't paid for his permits either. So those are some of the crimes that I had to endure in Costilla County. I called the cops, they put their thumbs up their asses, and then once you've ignored a person who had to go through this shit, well, they were just going to ignore the crimes forever. But you got a dead body now. So maybe it's these people that have been committing crimes against me. Maybe they know something. If I'm a sheriff or if I'm a cop, that's the first motherfuckers I'm going to go to. Hey there, Phil Greeny, you're a piece of shit, criminal fucking piece of shit, right? Nah, you're just a terrorist, criminal fucking piece of shit. The McDonald's and the Callsies and the nasty perverted shit that they were doing, none of them thought that was wrong. None of them protested. They were all best friends with motherfucking Xanis and Samantha McDonald. They were shoving green beans up those kids' asses for 5 years straight, 2013 to 2017. None of those criminal motherfuckers out there gave a goddamn flying fuck. So now let's go to the courthouse, okay? So now I got Nazi criminal motherfuckers who are fucking with me. Now, the Robert Ogburn standard is where we want to get to. If a cop just arrests a person and then the DA and the judge just tries to rape that fucking guy over as best as they can, Ann Kelly lied on behalf of Phil Greeny, said that I didn't need Phil Greeny to lay the foundation. I did need Phil Greeny to lay the foundation, but I was shocked. I'm traumatized. The DA's a liar? The DA's just going to come in here and just make up shit? The DA doesn't want to be prepared. The DA didn't care about the truth. The DA doesn't care about what's right and what's wrong. The DA doesn't care about justice at all. We just threw out a bunch of fucking district attorneys for not giving a goddamn flying fuck about victims' rights. And you think Ann Kelly or Michael Gonzalez gives a shit about victims' rights? We have a right to access to the courts. So somebody commits a crime, I make an accusation. Unless you can prove, you don't know who I am. So I started out brand new. But you can't prove that the person you just met is a pathological liar. So if you're talking to a stranger and they're making this accusation and they look like they're being serious and they're being real detailed, give them a tough cross-examination. Oh, are you there? Are you sure? Were you there? Here, there, okay, wherever. And try to get the best statement that you can get. But ultimately, every credible accusation, that's the Robert Ogburn standard. When you have an accusation, Robert Ogburn says he was an old judge, an old lawyer here in the Valley 50 years ago. He writes books now. But Robert Ogburn, he says that his job is to pursue every accusation to the fullest extent of the law while simultaneously protecting your rights and freedoms. So to pursue every accusation to the fullest extent of the law while also protecting your rights and freedoms. That's the Robert Ogburn standard. And that's better because any accusation, you got to follow to the fullest extent of the law. These assholes, Ann Kelly and Mark Annabelle, they both act like, well, they're ethically obligated to fuck me the fuck over. Ann Kelly is ethically obligated to lie, cajole. I said that the criminals are a bunch of bacteria around here. She made it sound like I was talking about the people of Costilla County. She's lying. She suggested that this older woman who was a witness to the crimes, me and her were sleeping together. She's 20 years my older. There's 2 beds in the hotel. She's a witness, motherfucker. But Ann Kelly has no case. She has a tiny fucking accusation from a liar and no evidence. So if a tiny accusation from a liar and no evidence gets all this ugliness out of Ann Kelly and Michael Gonzalez, then why don't they do that to people that's actually committed crimes? So the Robert Ogburn standard is where we want to get to. So I've had all these crimes that happen against me. I fired a couple warning shots. Piece of shit tried to jerk a steering wheel. Run over my fucking dogs. He did it. He was staring right at me, laughing the whole fuck. You didn't see a 6-foot man with 5 dogs? There was no obstructions. You could see the house, you could see the fence, but you couldn't see the 6-foot man. And then later on, he's going, oh, I saw him crystal clear doing this thing and that thing. None of that was, he's a liar. And he also had a lie, you know. It's not the first time he's filed false charges. He stole a basketball goal and then said that, no, they stole his basketball goal. You know how it is when you're 18, you go around stealing basketball goals, and when they said, hey, did you steal our basketball goal? And you said, no, this is mine. You're trying to steal my basketball goal. The fuck are you motherfuckers talking about? But because I went out there and I talked to the cops, and the cops just made a fucking arbitrary decision, nah, we want to fuck you over. Yeah, we want to take $5,000 out of your pocket and ruin your fucking life. But you're respectful and you're 6 foot tall. I went to Soto Cruz. I drove all the way to San Luis to talk about these original crimes that fucking happened. And you think he gave a shit? He didn't give a fuck. And I was nervous. Yeah, you got a license to fucking murder me, man. A lot of dumb shit. A lot of dumb shit. Michael Gonzalez has said a bunch of stupid, ugly shit. He don't have a case, so they're going to try to entrap me. He doesn't have a case, so he's going to try to get me for contempt charges. Phil Greeny said he wanted to go get a gun to go shoot my mother. I told him about it. How's that not felony menacing? That meets all the elements. Go get a gun for the purpose of scaring somebody? Oh, okay. And then when he didn't file any charges, I slightly grimaced. I don't even know what the contempt charge was. But I got arrested for contempt. Because when he said that he wasn't going to file charges on Phil Greeny, again, Ann Kelly's protecting Phil Greeny. Michael Gonzalez is protecting Phil Greeny. The crime is getting arrested. And that sucks because when I think about being a lawful person, you're not allowed to resist. When a cop just says, hey, we got to fuck your life over. Well, I guess I just got to bend on over and let you plow away. You made an arbitrary fucking decision. Because I was upfront and upright. Don't engage. Because you're an egotistical piece of shit. You failed me once. You failed me twice. Now you're going to try to turn around and say that it wasn't your buddy, Kenny Capin. It wasn't your buddy, Troy Zinn. Right? Soto Cruz is friends with Troy Zinn. Kenny Capin and Keith Schultz are buddies. They're not going to go arrest their buddies. I'm making an accusation against their buddies. So they're going to be a bunch of egotistical pieces of shit. Ignore all the fucking crimes that happened to me, and then when I said don't commit crimes, fuck me over for life. 6 years of getting raped for a couple warning shots? Motherfuckers, I had bullets whizzing over my heads. I had AK-47s pointed right the fuck at me. You bitches are scared over 3 little warning shots, you crybaby bitches? I fired them from behind my house up into the air. The guy's lying. But there's some interesting things that he says. He wasn't imminently afraid of no serious bodily injury. He wasn't afraid of the gunshots. He was afraid of how I drove around the block. He was pissed off at my attitude afterwards. He wasn't afraid of the gunshots. 10 minutes later, I drove around the block and parked in front of my house to make sure he wasn't going to swipe by again. Shelly Quintana's a fucking asshole. I told her that my dog was murdered. You think she was a bitch about it? You think she stamped her feet and gave any fucking stupid eyes and acted a fool? No, but she's been an asshole about my paperwork. She's been an asshole about the subpoenas and whether or not you dotted the fucking I. When I went to Shelly Quintana, she stayed there and she tried to hide over in the fucking corner as if like My guess is Shelly Quintana and Michael Gonzalez has fucked over a lot of people, a lot of innocent people. If a cop arrests you, they're going to do the best they can to fuck you the fuck over. 98% of all charges, 98% of all charges, and in a plea deal. So these pieces of shit get used to feeling all high and mighty. The cops bring them a body, and then they get to act like they're the judge and the DA, and oh no, you did real bad. Alonzo Payne had Ricky Ricardo, and Ricky Ricardo was like, these allegations are very serious. Oh really, Ricky Ricardo? You don't give a fuck about victims' rights. You're gonna get kicked out next month, you stupid motherfucker. But even Alonzo Payne, who said was giving out sweetheart deals left and right, wasn't going to give me no fucking break. You said that what? So a bunch of criminal motherfuckers get sweetheart deals, and then the Anne Franks and the Frederick Douglasses and the J.C. Dugards of the world, the crime is getting arrested. Michael Gonzalez and Ann Kelly are going to fuck over anybody that the cops arrest. If it's for a fucking seatbelt charge, if it's for a jaywalking charge, it doesn't matter. They're there to fuck you over. If you try to talk to them and explain the situation, they'll laugh at you, they'll roll their eyes and say, just fucking plead out anyways. Now, we're going to oppress you and oppress you some more and fuck your life over. The person who alleged that the crime had happened, he said that he didn't want to see jail time for me. Ann Kelly had offered anger management courses. And then Wayne Bryant said if the other guy agrees to it, for me to mow his lawn for a month. I can handle all those things. What I can't handle is a bunch of pissant, fucking little dick piles of shit who don't give a fuck about justice in the neighborhood, who's going to sit there and ignore 100 motherfucking crimes. You ignored over 100 fucking crimes. And it's a good thing that I moved out of Costilla into Conejos County, because they would have kept fucking with me. The cops wouldn't have done shit. These criminal, Nazi, right-wing, sovereign, KKK, Mickey Mouse pieces of shit would have kept fucking with me. And then what? I'd been like, hey, you better not do that. Well, you're not allowed to yell, and then I get arrested again. You're the criminal motherfuckers. Quintana. So I drive all the way out there because 24 appearances, right? The first 2 years, Phil Greeny is fucking me over, and then the next 2 years, Michael Gonzalez has fucked me over. I've lived here in the Valley for 4 years, and I haven't got to live a day. I haven't got to live a single day here. I was being oppressed by Phil Greeny and the Nazis, and then I'm getting oppressed by the court. He is so gung-ho about fucking me over, he's going to try to delete 100 crimes that happened against me. It's almost like he thinks he can just dictate the narrative. You were arrested, so we're just going to make you Jeffrey Dahmer, and all these other people, we'll pretend none of that happened, or we're just going to rationalize it, excuse it away, pretend that it's not the way that you said it. But I thought that Robert Ogburn says you got to pursue all accusations to the fullest extent of the law. But that's not the Ann Kelly and Michael Gonzalez standard. The standard is if you get arrested, if a cop kidnaps a body, then they'll pretend to be a judge, they'll pretend to be a DA. But if they're just a bunch of fascist piles of shit, why do we even have DAs and judges? Just let the cops arrest whoever the fuck they want. You're just gonna, they nab them, and then the DA and judge slabs them. What do we need that for? If you're gonna rubber stamp every cop decision, we don't need DAs or judges. At no point in time has the DA or the judge even considered anything I've said. I got videotape, I got documentation. If I'm a police officer and I make an arrest, these motherfuckers will act like it's the most brilliant decision in the goddamned world. But I'm not a police officer, I'm just a citizen. And if they can fuck over a citizen like this, they can fuck over anybody. So I go to the courthouse, I'm supposed to check the audio-visual equipment to see if my, equipment matches up with theirs. Shelly Quintana's a fucking dick, just sitting there trying to provoke me. She was staring at me, just kept staring at me real long as I was leaving. You better get the thing in right, the judge would be real mad. And then kept staring at me like, you got a problem? What are you staring at me like that for? There's been a lot of things, okay? So that was just one small thing, but that was at the end. Oh, okay, I'll get the right laptop. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you're going to get the right laptop. Well, you better. I go in there to check the audio visual. She points to the TV and the fucking DVD player that they got. And that's all I really needed to know. And then because they locked the courtroom door, when I was leaving, she kind of made this little fucking motion to Harrelson, the police officer, make sure you lock the door. Nah, this is a piece of shit criminal fuck. Make sure you lock the door on this piece of shit. If you came over to my house and you wanted justice from me, I guarantee you I would listen better than Shelley Quintana. Shelley Quintana doesn't give a shit about crimes. If a cop or a lawyer, ex parte, if a cop or a lawyer doesn't bring the charges, then a citizen has no rights. But the Constitution of Colorado says we all have the access to the courts. You don't just listen to the lawyers and the cops and ignore everybody else. You stop the crimes. If the lawyer and the cops miss it, you got to listen to the citizen. And if the citizen has no way to. So what she was doing, the way I interpreted what she was doing, is she was being Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow says she's got a secret power. Prince talks about pussy control. Lori Vallow has a secret power. And her secret power is this. When she's dating you and you're her man, and then she finds another man who's all Twitter-pated and gets all horned up and wants to get some of that wet-ass pussy, well, she's got a man that could beat up this other man. That's her secret power. So when she was sitting there motioning for Harrelson to make sure you lock the door, make sure you lock him outside the door, the judge told me to fucking do it, motherfucker. I wasted 4 hours of my fucking life. Drove there to see their goddamn equipment so I'd have my shit ready. Only for her to be a piece of shit bitch. A fucking dumb, ugly, dumb, stupid, immoral, dumb. And you know, I am frustrated with all these assholes, but ultimately, she's not any better. It's Michael Gonzalez who's leading the fucking ship. But I thought women were supposed to be better. She's worse. She sucks her daddy's dick and then she's shittier. I told you about Tecumseh getting murdered. Maybe the person that murdered Tecumseh is the same person that murdered Kenny John. Maybe when Robert Pickrell and Capon were shooting at me and Noah was shooting at me, they like to shoot at people. Let's ask them some questions. Did you all shoot Kenny John? Well, you all like to go around shooting at people, right? Hiram Richardson, Vallela. They did some minor shit, but Hiram Richardson's driving his blue truck up and down the fucking road like a fucking prick. He's the mayor around there. Vallela, hey, where's my dog at? Oh, it's probably out here. I go out there and Hiram Richardson drives, and then it's a blue truck, and then Nick number 2 is like, are you the one doing driving? No, it's Hiram, motherfucker. But I was a kind person, and I don't have a full house yet. So let's fuck over the guy who isn't established. Let's fuck over the easy lick and let all the Nazis get away with their shit. Did Troy Zinn have something to do with Kenny John's death? Did Noah? Did Kenny Capon? What about Little Xanis? Who's that bitch-ass piece of shit that drives a white truck with a black flatbed truck? Looks like he's got like some oil or gas thing on the back of it. That bitch-ass piece of shit drives by where all the arsons are. He drives by like he's the police officer of that fucking neighborhood. He was best friends with Daniel. He knew the McDonald's. He's Little Xanis. Little Xanis X. He's kind of the only mystery person that I don't know for sure what the fuck he's up to. So now let's get back to Christopher Mondragon. Christopher Mondragon wasn't arrested. Christopher Mondragon didn't have $5,000 stolen from him. Christopher Mondragon isn't going to work on his case. He's not going to read any of the laws. I just updated myself. Danny Sanchez says he tries to update himself. I read the laws better than the sheriff. Why? Because as a citizen, you got to know the laws if you're going to comply with the laws. But Christopher Mondragon hasn't been arrested. So Shelley Quintana never rolled her eyes at him, never fucking said fuck your dog and fuck your life to him. He never even went to her. He wasn't arrested, so he's not going to be treated like a piece of shit. They're not going to parade him around for 2 years, 24 appearances. They're not going to fuck his life over. Unless he's arrested. But I would think that as a society, we would want to go after the rapists and the thieves and the violent and the murderers. We want to go after all the fucking worst people of society, right? The worst of the worst should be arrested, or we're going to ignore the worst of the worst and just go after all the Anne Frank, J.C. Dugards, and Frederick Douglasses? So we need to do better.